Hello people, welcome to Kayla Creates. I'm Kayla, and the speed paint you are watching today is a long time in the making. I started it like 3 weeks ago, then got busy and couldn't finish it, and then, anyway, I'm not gonna get into details, but it was a long time, but it's done, yay! It's another Draw This in Your Style challenge from Lulu Carroll on Instagram, and I will have the original picture at the end of the video, as well as a link in the description to their account. Today I thought I'd do a story time, finally, and it's about my horrible art teacher. I feel like every artist YouTuber has had one of these story times on their channel, but you know, whatever, I'm gonna do mine anyway. So this happened when I was a freshman in high school. And naturally, I took art, and it was at the very beginning of that year. It was like one of the first electives I took, and obviously I love art, and I was really hopeful and eager to take it. So this teacher, we'll call him Mr. B, he was new. The previous art teacher, I'm told, was great, but she left the year before. So when I had him, it was his first year teaching at my school. Therefore, I was in one of the first classes to experience his teaching. So he seemed pretty cool at first. I don't know, he seemed cool, and I was like, this is gonna be fun. But then, like, just a few days went by, maybe a week, and he started to get very strict and like harsh and just mean and unforgiving. I don't know, I would go as far to say that some of the things he did were absolutely unacceptable. Disclaimer here, our class was kind of rowdy. It wasn't, like, I was actually a good kid. I was, like, determined to, like, have a good freshman year. There's, like, an entire table that were just, like, all boys, so, I mean, you know how that goes, and they were all, like, rowdy, and were just kind of in there because they didn't have, like, they don't want to do any other electives, but they're forced to. They were problem makers. So I understand that. I'm saying this because some of the incidents were caused by us being, like, a little too loud, too talkative, too rowdy sometimes, but, like, it still doesn't excuse anything that he did. Like, he'd yell at us and, like, tell us how disgusting our behavior was and how disrespectful we were, and he was just really chewing us out, and like, it was just a little bit too far. He was very, like, harsh and critical of our work. We were definitely not the only class to experience this. Like, this wasn't just he hated our class. He just hated everyone. So, like, this isn't just, like, me being dramatic. Yeah, trust me, there's been other experiences. So I can't even remember, like, what order they happened. So I'm just gonna, like, name them off. And so one of the first incidents that comes to mind when, like, I think about the story is that there was this one time that we were, like, I'll give him this. Most teachers don't call you up and say, like, hey, you're missing this specific assignment, I need you to get that in. Like, they just hope that you're gonna know that, right? And they're not gonna come after you for it. So I do respect that, but it completely backfired because he called me up and he was like, hey, you're missing this. And I was like, no, I thought, I'm pretty dang sure I turned that in. So I went to go check in my backpack and my folders for the assignment. And obviously it's not there because I turned it in. I thought I turned it in, and I did turn it in. But so I go up and I'm like, it's, like, not in there. Are you sure you don't have it? Is it in the turn-in pile? Like, did you miss something? And he was like, no, trust me. Like, I don't have it. And you just need to get it. Like, you just need to do it all over again. I was like, I am not doing that. I was like, well, can I go look in the turn-in pile? And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I went to go look in. We had just, like, this little shelf that we would just drop our assignments in for him to grade them later. And so I went to go look at that, and I went through everybody's papers trying to find mine. And I even had a couple friends come over and, like, help me because they like wondered what I was doing, and they were like, oh, I'll help you look, and because they were great friends. So we're looking through everybody's papers from, like, the past 2 weeks, and we finally, like, empty out the entire shelf basically. And mine is there at the very, 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 very bottom of the entire pile, and it's like stuck to the stuck to the shelf. You know, like when sometimes this paint is a little bit too smooth and you set a paper down, you have to kind of like I don't know, like, it doesn't just, like, slide off. You have to kind of grab at it a little bit. That was, like, it was like that. But it was there. It was, like, at the very bottom of the pile. And it was turned in! Oh my gosh. Ugh. Man, I haven't truly thought about this in a long time. I'm not holding grudges or anything. I just think this is so ridiculous. So I bring it to him, and I'm like, it was at, like, here. It was at the bottom of the turn-in pile. So I did turn it in. Like, I mean, you know, it was turned in, so sorry about that, here you go. So he takes and he's like, okay, and so I go sit back down, work on my thing. A couple days later, I'm checking my grades, and I see that specific assignment was marked late. So I see that it's marked late, and I go to him, and I'm like, hey, I saw this was marked late, and can you change that? Because I did turn it in, like, you just didn't see it at the bottom of the pile, I guess. And he's like, no, it's already late. You didn't get it to me on time, and I can't unmark it. And then I started to get a little bit adamant. I'm kind of proud of myself for not, like, backing down, right? So I got a little bit more firm, and I was like, no, I turned this in on time. I had it completely done, and I turned it in on time. It was at the bottom of the pile. Like, I found it at the bottom of the pile, and it was not late. You just missed it when you were grabbing the assignments. Please, can you mark it on time and give me back the points that I missed? And I had to stand up I had to stand up more for myself more than I should have. And so I was like, I don't want this to be marked late. You marked it late because you couldn't find it. This was not late. I turned it in on time, I swear, and I found it at the bottom of the pile. You just missed it. He was like, oh, fine, but don't let it happen again. So I did get the points for the assignment, but he gave me such a hard time about it and lost my assignment, and then tried to blame it on me. Ugh, okay, so man, I haven't thought about that one in a long time. Wow. That's not it though. I'm not done yet. This one is less of him being a bad teacher. This is just an incident that I remembered that happened. So I have a very unique laugh, to say the least. And my real laugh is very explosive. I've heard it said. I've heard it put that way. It's very explosive. And it's very loud. And I just, I've done my little laughs, in this video, for example, but they're not my real laugh, and they are, my real laugh is loud, just like me. So there's this one time that, I don't know, something funny happened, obviously, right? Or maybe I was just laughing at myself because I was being stupid or something, which wouldn't be surprising. But there's this one time that I laughed, but it was kind of a mixture of, a few different laughs, if anybody actually gets what that means. And it was, gosh, it was just really, it was a weird, unique laugh. It was, but he comes over and he leans, cause obviously he heard it, right? The room's big and echoey. So he comes over and he leans on the table and he's like, hey, you okay? Do you need a minute? Do you need to step outside? And I was just like, no, I'm fine, I'm sorry. So again, that wasn't him being a bad teacher. That was just an incident that man, that was so, it was embarrassing at the time, obviously, but now it's pretty funny. So one of these other incidents didn't happen to me personally, I guess. It was at parent-teacher conference. So I can't remember where my mom was, but my dad went to go see my art teacher. My dad is where I get my artsy side from. He went to go talk to my art teacher. So he's talking and Mr. B tells him that he's yeah, well, she doesn't get her assignments done, and she gets up and wanders around the class for the entire class period, and then towards the end of the period she notices that she's running out of time and hurries up and sits down and tries to make up for lost time. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh. This is by far the most ridiculous thing. I was a good kid, but I went into my freshman year and I was I'm gonna be great, and I'm not gonna get in trouble at all, and I'm gonna be a good student, I'm gonna get good grades so I can have a good college, and have a good life. It's like, and again, I loved art, so it just doesn't make sense to me or anyone why he would say that. And like, it was absolutely not true. Not at all. I don't even remember being tired of like sitting down and just having to stand up for a few minutes. I like never got up, maybe to grab like some scissors or something, but like that's like to the other end of the room and back. Like, I did not just get up and wander around. I was like, what the heck? Again, not holding grudges, but thinking about it is like, what were you thinking? Ugh, jeez. So there were like a lot of other little incidents that I'm just like, they're just too like trivial to name. Like, there was this one time where this rowdy group of boys in our class were like, what were they doing? So we had like the bendy metal rulers that were like, you could like slap them with, like, or like slap people with, and I think that's what they were doing, and they were just messing around with them, and he banned them from the rulers for a whole week, which were like an important tool for the assignment we were working on at the time. We were working on some kind of like perspective. I don't even remember. Why can't I think of that? Anyway, it doesn't matter right now. It was like building perspective. So we had to draw like a cityscape. But anyway, it was some kind of perspective assignment where rulers are very important, and they got banned from the rulers for a whole week, which honestly I think is reasonable, but he was just really mean about it. There was another time, this was like the last day of the class. So me and like one of my other friends were just kind of messing around. He was just playing a movie. Again, like last day, we didn't really have to do anything. We'd already done our finals, and so like there was just nothing to do, right? Unless you had to catch up on assignments. So he played a movie about like, I forgot what it was called. It was kind of a cool movie. It doesn't really matter. So he was playing a movie. There were like, kids were just kind of talking, like messing around on their phones if they wanted to be. He was in his office grading stuff, and I can't even remember what I was doing. Something stupid, because like, why not? You're with friends at school when we don't have to do anything, so like just kind of being teenagers, you know. But he looks out of his office and he's like, "Hey, sit down." And I was like, oh, but like she's standing up too, which is true. There was other girls just like standing up, like, I don't know, like messing around or taking selfies or something. I don't know what they were doing. I don't remember this incident very clearly, but he got mad at me for like standing up. Wow, that's dumb. And I don't know exactly what my friend was doing, but she thought she'd get up and go say that somebody called her like, I don't know if I really want to say it, because like, anyway, so she got up and went to the teacher and told it, like, just to see like what he would do, and said that somebody called her a name, like an offensive name that I'm just not gonna say, but like it was an offensive name. So she went up and like told the teacher that, and he was like, "So?" And I was like, well, that's not very nice. But anyway, again, just trivial things, I don't know, that are just like some things that maybe any annoyed teacher would do, but because he was kind of like that all the time, they matter a little bit more, I guess. So this very last incident is a little like, is again not like super big, and I don't know if necessarily like means anything, but for our end of class final, we had to do an art show. They did this every year. I remember going to the high school when I was in middle school and looking at all their arts, and they set them up on like a board. I don't know what it's actually called. They set it up like in our commons, so anybody walking past could see them going down the main hall. So I was really excited to do that, and a few days before the class ended, he came out and like gave out awards, and there was like first place, second place, third place, obviously, you know, like the usual. Then he gave out 2 honorable mentions, and one of them was to a girl at my table, and the other one was to, guess what? It was for me. And I was like super excited. I was like, yo, like it wasn't like first place or anything, but it was still an honorable mention. So I was like obviously pretty excited about that. So I brought it home. I wasn't really thinking about it, and then I look again, and he didn't even sign it. And I don't know if that means anything or not, but I just know he didn't like me because I had a loud laugh. I just remembered an experience. Okay, so I know he didn't like me now because of my laugh. I know he was annoyed by my laugh now because I remembered something. So we have like a program at our school where like students are allowed to basically ditch for a day and go like bond, I guess, with classmates. So the teachers come join, and I saw him in the hall when I was waiting to get in. And I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be in class today. And he's like, I'm not either, I'm coming. And I was like, oh, great. At the end of the program, we all, like, stuck a bunch of, like, little sticky notes on each other, like, on each other with compliments. But he said something about my loud laugh, so it was, like, kind of a backhanded compliment. Oh, man. What an experience. Oh, gosh, there was, like, the laughing incident. There was the parent-teacher conferences incident. There was the honorable mention incident. There was another incident. Oh, right, the assignment incident. Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. And I know that it was not just my class. I've heard stories that, like, but I'm just gonna leave it there because this is getting pretty long, and I don't know if anybody actually wants to listen to me ramble. Well, I had a ton of fun recording this. Man, this was something to remember. Let me tell you, this is actually so hilarious to me now looking back on it. Oh, wow. So that's it. I'm gonna go. If you made it all the way to the end of this, great job. I'm so proud of you. Thanks for listening to me just ramble, and sorry if this was, like, really chaotic. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Again, I had a ton, like, probably too much fun recording this. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever this is that you're watching it. Stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!